My mom has belittled me my whole life, and my last straw was when she served her pie over mine at Thanksgiving, so I gave her a taste of her own medicine and walked out on her when she tried to give me a slice. My 32F mother, 60F, hosts Thanksgiving dinner at her house every year. It's a small event, with my parents, me, my brother's family and my Sil's family attending. We avoid family quarrels by implementing a strict no politics rule and trying our best to be civil. I should probably mention that we are not a particularly close-knit family. We rarely see each other beyond these events since my brother lives in South Africa and I travel a lot due to my work. Thanksgiving is important to my mom since it's one of the rare times we're all together. Anyway, the main problem I have with my mother is her constant critique of me. She has a habit of making passive-aggressive comments about my life choices, from my career to my lack of children to the way I dress. I've addressed this with her multiple times, but she doesn't really seem aware of it. My father claims it is just her way of fussing and expressing that she cares. It does hurt though, because my brother is never criticized in the same manner. I cannot entirely fault her for her criticism, since I did majorly mess up my life a few months ago, depression, and it has affected her opinion of me negatively. It does not excuse the way I acted, but I just wanted to explain why I left. By the time we finished dinner, I was a bit prickly because of some of her commentary. I made a cake for dessert. I was explicitly put in charge of it and no one specified what exactly I should make, so I opted for maple cheesecake. I did my best and I think it looked okay. Mum normally makes pumpkin pie, but I really hate pumpkins, they make me gag, so I thought perhaps we could try something new. As I was bringing out the cheesecake, my mom eyed it somewhat warily and announced that she decided to make the usual pie as well. This caught me off guard. I asked why she didn't tell me beforehand, and she said something like, "Well, we figured you'd do your own thing, so I thought it was best to have a backup." She went on to cut the pie and serve it to everyone, instructing me to leave the cheesecake in the kitchen. When someone asked to try my dessert, she said let's not mix too many flavors at once, which just felt passive-aggressive. I know it's immature for an adult to get this upset over a triviality, but I just, politely, refused as she was handing me a slice of pie, retrieved my coat and left. People were calling after me, I think, but by that point I was crying for some reason, and it would have been too humiliating to have an emotional outburst in front of everyone for no real reason. My mom just texted me saying that it was incredibly rude and immature of me to leave like that, especially on Thanksgiving. My brother also sent me a message saying I'm acting irrationally. I feel horrible for leaving so abruptly, especially because my parents are getting older and we are already not close. Something about my mother seems to turn me into a neurotic teenager and I hate it. Update. Hello. Since I always wonder what happened to the people who post on here, I thought I'd give a brief update. When I wrote that post, I was mentally in a pretty dark place. I think I needed someone, even if it was a stranger on the internet, to validate my feelings and listen. And commenters on here did listen and took the time to write advice that made me think, so thank you. Most of you were right, my post was not really about pumpkin pie or cheesecake. The underlying tension between me and my mother has always expressed itself through fights over trivialities and long silences. Many of you have asked me why I, as a 30-year-old woman, still go to these events. I've asked myself the same question and realized that there is no reason for me to be there. My brother and I do not get along, we never have, and my mother has brought this onto herself. I will be spending Christmas elsewhere. However, I feel like my post might have portrayed my mother in an unfair light. I know it does not matter, since you are here to judge a conflict and not a person, but some of the comments seem to assume my mom to be a nasty and mean bully. She is not. She can be very kind and very generous, and has done a lot of good for people through her work. She is also terrible at expressing emotion, frustrated by retirement and herself had a very difficult childhood. Our relationship has not always been this bad, and I too have been cruel to her in the past. In regards to the actual quarrel, I have sent only a short response to my brother since Thanksgiving, ignoring Mum's texts. She called yesterday and seems to be hell-bent on buying me new shoes. She rarely apologizes. I am not strong enough to keep hoping she changes. I will address the topic of my childhood with my therapist. Happy holidays, everyone.